given the sum of $50,000. We've been given a team of 20 members, as I earlier said. We've also been given internet facilities. Our objective, first of all, we'll design a suitable website for MMM there in Thailand. We'll create online promotion and offline promotion, make adverts, flyers, banners, leaflets. We'll organize wonderful seminars. We'll also make one-to-one canvassing. We'll make road posters so that the people of Bangkok, the city first that we are into, so that the people there, they will know about MMM and its benefits. First of all, Thailand has 32 cities, where Bangkok is the capital. Thailand is its economy developing, and so we intend to go there and make them benefit from what MMM has to offer them. The total land area is about 513,120 kilometers per square, and they have the total population of 68,000 persons. Our plan of work for the first week that we would get into Thailand, first of all, since we are going to an unknown land, would secure accommodation, because it's the first thing that we need to do, because we don't know the people there and we don't know anyone there. And this accommodation we're securing, first of all, would secure a hotel, but in the next 2 days, we would like to go into the land. We won't stay in the hotel, because being in the hotel, it's kind of isolated from the people we want to reach out to. We'd go into the land, we'll stay in the community, so we can interact with them one-on-one. We'll build a website for MMM there in Thailand. We'll link people of Thailand to know the website through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any means, any social media available. We'd also upload wonderful videos. We'd upload videos to show them the progress of MMM in other countries. We make the importance of MMM too in other countries. We organize seminars, and in these seminars, we're going to print out T-shirts. We'll customize our pen with MMM logo. Our T-shirts also, we also customize them with MMM logo. Our caps, our souvenir, we customize them with MMM logo. Human resource. Team members will be mobilized to organize little seminars, apart from the one who organized the first time, the first day we got to Bangkok, that's in Thailand. Banners and flyers will be pasted as well. Finance, we've been mobilized with the sum of $50,000, but we won't use all at the start. We would start by making the flyers, and we won't spend that much, because we don't know how their economy is, and we manage ourselves. First of all, the resource, as I earlier said, we'll secure an apartment where we'll stay in Thailand. We'll build the website, we'll link people to them, seminar presentation will be made, and all that. Each participant, since we are 20 in number, that has been dispatched to the country of Thailand, and Bangkok, their major city. Since we are 20 in numbers, if each of these persons, each of these volunteers that has gone to Bangkok, if each can bring 2 persons per day to the seminar, times 7 days, 20 of us will be estimating nothing less than 5,600 participants for a start. And our target, the unemployed, civil servants, traders in Thailand, businessmen and women in Thailand, and also legal practitioners. These are the persons they are hoping. These are the persons who want to work. Tell all about. And we give hello ma.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
Should
I'm
I
with you.
give the rundown of how to spend the money?
Um,
Hello?
that was
You said?
I'm much interested in your registration.
Okay, my registration. I said if each participant can be able to bring
So
each
how you
if
really
each
spend
of
the
them
money is not it's
I
not so
can't get it.
much. I said how you really spend the money is not that so much important. Most important thing is registration and okay. Another is how you were able to move
Registration
on
in
and
this
then how you
seminar.
carry people along and some things. Although you might also mention how you spend the money.
Okay. When we get to Bangkok, this team of 20 persons that has entered the city, if two of these persons can be bringing two individuals per day before the first 1 week that our seminar will run, we'll be having nothing less than 5,600 participants. And if these participants had to register with nothing less than $10, we'll be having $6,000 first week of registration. Our total expenses for the first seminar that we are having, that we would have there in Bangkok, would be $25,000. First seminar, would want to have a seminar that will attract persons here in Bangkok, that will attract even the unemployed, the employed, the students, the workers, that will attract MMM. That they'll know what MMM is and what it can offer. What MMM can offer. After this, total registration for this first week will be much greater than our expenses. If a team of 20 persons able to bring two participants per day to the seminar, we'll be having $56,000. The tax too. Mark, can I go on to the tax too?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, the tax too. A week has passed. We are improving. The turn up is much. Participant, the structure we have built is wonderful. Registration of MMM Global must be provided less than 30%. We've done that. Our task in the second week, in the tax 2, is to calculate how many new participants and contributions we have made to ensure the next 3 weeks in order to be able to make the required payment to the older participants. In this second week, here in Thailand, still with the 20 members,
Hello? Grant, are you there? Grant? Hello? Seems he's having network issue. Do we have any other presenter from his cycle also? Cycle 2?
Hello, good evening, madam.
Evening. Sorry?
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
So, tax 3. I guess you have exhausted tax 2.
Okay, you're on same cycle with him, right?
Hello, madam.
Cycle
Yeah.
with him.
A month has passed. So, hello?
Hello, are you in the
Hello?
same cycle too?
Hello? Cycle 2.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. A month has passed. So, we continue, the participant, we continue for where he stopped. Let me continue for where he stopped. At the fourth
Yes,
week.
please.
At the fourth week, then we having a week 1. There are 37,800 participants. Weekly contribution in dollar, 340,000 in the Thailand in their currency. We have 394,518 600. Where in the week 2 we have 7,600, 22,600 participants. We have 22,680, 80,000. In Thailand currency, we have 37,200. In the third week, we have 151,200 participants. In dollars, we have 45,360,000. In Thailand currency, we have 1,574,400. In week 4, 304,000. We have 300 participants. Then the weekly contribution in dollar, 720,000. The in Thailand currency, 3,156,148, 148,800. So this is the table. That table signifies the increase weekly starting from the previous week. At least number of 51,300 and 2,400, all amounted to 57,000 with the new participant contribution. The new participant contribution for the weeks $170, 1,000. Then that's the end of the tax fall. That's the end of tax 3. So tax 4.
Okay, so go ahead.
months, after 2 months, a number of participants deposit that you calculated. Sorry, but after 2 months, we have the number of participants deposited that you have calculated. Now you can calculate what you need to organize within next month. A week after, within the next month, a week after, within the start of the month, holiday in Thailand, which is celebrated respectively. In the period, the active of organization falls by 75%. Make plan of the action for a month and how should use them. Amount contribution and participant for the development. So now solution planned earlier carry out this. We will now analyze how many participants contribution we need this issue and adopt the following measure. Those participants and top that is set a GH limit until the situation is resolved. And also the ordinary participants with high contribution where GH in bit which is get, and we must educate them on the PH or heading for clinically. Road will be frozen for 2 weeks as the case may be. Festive fit help attract new in that period. Methodology. Hello, man.
Hello, I'm listening.
Week 1. Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
Methodology for week 1. Okay. Already week 2, contribution in dollar. We have 21,400 $40,099 Thank you. Then week 2, we have 58,000. Then we have 466. Then in week 3, we have 1 million is on 200. Then we have the contribution in dollar. 64 million. It's 441,050. Then 112 million, 766,000.5 in dollar. Rapid increase after the first week to the 4th week. Resource needed to increase the number of registered new members. To train and empower more participants to become manager in the community, increase input flow, organize additional seminars. 3. Media adverts of allocated budget. We have expenses on seminar and media adverts. We have $200,000. That's all. Tax 5. Hello.
Go ahead, I'm hearing you.
not work. Our plan did not work hard. Do you have enough new registration and new of current deposit? It is necessary to analyze the plan of action in the situation. How many participant contribution it is needed to get this situation resolved? Due to lack payment, the old participants say that neither make nor attract new members. Objective: the plan of action situation. 2. The resource needed. 3. How many participants and action plan and solution. Analysis will be made on how many participants and contribution are needed to resolve this and following the measure. 1. Reduce logistic fund, adverts and publicity. 3. Training more image. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello? Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Training more indigenous of talent to be guided so as to penetrate more into the PT. Then 4. Train potential participants of MMA ideology. 5. Show testimonial of successful parties. Count fears or panics into the mind of 7. Those participants with high contribution and characters can get help and just get help limits until the situation is resolved. The ordinary participant with high contribution can also get help over a period of time. We must educate them on the need to continue to PH or for a healthy community. Resource needed. 1. Train more gather to work alongside with the initial 20 members. 2. Cover more states, regions within the shortest time. 3. Media adverts. 4. Organize seminars. 5. Create adverts in social media, e.g. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc. We would also organize a conference meeting with participants informing them of the situation to avoid widespread panic and misinformation. 5. The fifth point, we would embark on another mobilization in a different region to make up for the loss of new participants in the last month. Enabling us to meet the desire for the tax 5. And then the tax 6. Hello, ma'am.
Hello?
Tax 6 now.
Go ahead.
Hello, should I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. During this month, delay in payment increased to 7 days. Referral activities almost reduced to 0. The old members do not attract anyone and do not make contribution to. In virtue of this situation, a first month is implemented, in which all the old members are frozen, will be available for withdrawal when the situation will be alright itself. New deposits grow as their old condition are not frozen and available as usual. Make your plan of action for another month. Resource and contribution members. Objective 1. Sensitizing members under first mode. Inform them about the reason for the introduction of the first mode and how it can be overturned. And 3. Increase our campaign and seminar, especially to areas constant with MMA. Line of action. 1. Aggressive publicity. All new participants embark on more aggressive publicity to boost the flow of funds. The old Mavro remain frozen. 2. Encouragement is able to make contribution now that the new donation is growing and available for withdrawal. 3. Invitation, creating social media group and giving deep insight on MMA technology. 4. Group work. Working as a team encourage participants to share experience and to motivate each other. 5. Motivation. Proper motivation attract more contribution in terms of registration bonus and for 30% bonus. 6. Participants should avoid compounding their Mavro to help inflow of deposit and balance in the system. Social network internet, enforcing MMA regulation through PO audit. 3. Local lecture and new participants. 4. Periodic training. 5. Media sensitization and MMA critiques. 6. Banner and flyer. Tax 7. The final tax. Hello, madam. Hello.
Hello? I'm with you.
Yeah. Tax 7. Which is the final tax. Our efforts been insufficient. Our efforts have been insufficient to reverse the situation and restart took place. All the old people are removed. We start to work from the beginning. Serious negative impact of the member and one or two negative articles in the mass media, and you have to make fresh starts in such condition. A plan of action under specified condition for a month. Plan of action. Every effort put in place is not sufficient to reverse the situation. It has generated negative impact on member and not helping matters. Either with all kinds of negative write-up, the following plan of action will be considered for the month. Reintroduction of MMA to resident MMA ideology and how it works. 2. Encourage 3. Face the situation and talk it. MMA. Explain and understand the start of the business plan. Also make our members calm down. Set a meeting with your member and encourage them to continue in MMA community. They provide help. And let your member set your effort. Keep being a good leader. Manage even it is the term of your plan and action. Always believe MMA could bring good in our community. Emphasizing on the essence of being a provider of the community. Developing tax 7. Developing MMA medical and August 18, Group 27, Circle 2. I believe my former students have introduced the number of members in the circle and their names.
Hello? Yeah, go ahead.
Introduction of the names and of the circle.
Okay.
This is developing MMA global internal through a charge 2017 August 18. Circle 2 Mary Obama. The leader is Richard. Secretary Precious Uduagale. Presenter name of group member is Mary because they do some registration gradually. And you know that Abiondo Uyive, Sonny Omorigi, those are the members.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is why I advised earlier on, everyone should get prepared because you never can tell what the network have in store for us. Now, expecting to have strong center to represent the circle, the person control, and the network actually messed.
I hear you, man.
He or she couldn't continue. So if you weren't prepared, then that means you should be waiting for all that, or waiting for the main presenters to come. So it's really a good one. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right?
God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, circle two.
Okay. Basically, in business game presentation, what we are. Okay, I think I can see circle two here. Your work summation. So it's basically for us to understand how the system works, and then to get every information needed for us to equip ourselves and then hope for the best. So in case anything happens to the system with this understanding and the knowledge you've gotten from here, then you should be able to be the one calming the panic raisers and then also calming the rumor mongers out there, because surely we always have rumor mongers and then also panic creators. So when this starts happening, then with the knowledge you have about the community or how it really works, having the good ideology of the community, then you shouldn't be shivering, you shouldn't bother yourself, or you shouldn't be shaking. And then you can always stand at any time and then tell them this is what is happening, this is what the system is all about, and this is what we're experiencing at the moment, of which when this is done, it's gonna be gotten the right way. So knowing what the system requires, the pH continuously and GH also, knowing that we get no money from anywhere and the system doesn't have any central account. So continuous activeness of the people out there that makes the system to keep going and for the system to be sustainable. Okay, so that is why you're told to get to a virgin land where the community hasn't been placed at all, then start it up from fresh. Starting up from scratch, building it up to certain stage, and then at a certain stage, knowing that your efforts you put in wasn't good enough, and there had to be a little hiccup somewhere. Then with a hiccup, you also try to find solution to build it up back again. Bring out the knowledge, then no matter what is happening in the community, you don't need to shiver or to shake at all. So that is why it's advised everybody takes part in the business game presentation to help you broaden your knowledge and help you understand more about the community, how it really operates. Okay, so thank you very much, Secretary, for the presentation. And then also talking much on this too, when actually if putting in more effort and and the system went to one process which are expected of you to the community grow and to stand up back again. So in that case, you're careful in selecting some of the activities you trying to get into so that you wouldn't have much issue ahead of you, because knowing that it's actually the donations of the people who come into the community, and then also with donation of those who are already members there, that helps keep the system going, because no extra fund is gotten from anywhere. So when you're trying to get the people back into the community, then automatically you need to present some enticing activities, present some enticing acts there, and some gift items also to help. As we have in the community right now, you can see some of the things that are being put in place to help attract people to get to join the members of the community. Okay, how you can actually try to increase the percentage level which you are given actually before, or try to put some percentage incentive. When a certain amount of money, probably you get 5 or 2% extra, but you must take note that if you're increasing the rate before, you ought to work harder in order for the new members to come in and join, also donate, so that the amount available in the community or in the system will be enough to pay out those who are already there. Because it's only those who have already donated someone else that is expected to receive, because you can't receive without donating. So you can try to bring in some incentive, okay, some promo tags, some games. If you do this, you get extra this. Then if you get more people, getting some donation bonuses and others. So all these are just something you need to do just to entice and try to bring in people. This you need to explain the ideology very well, because it's only those who don't understand much about the ideology of the system that creates more panic. The system has gone away with my money. MMM has disappeared with my money. They've run away with my money. Who is the MMM? Who makes up MMM? Does the system have a central account? So these are the things that needed to be understood. And then once it's understood, there's not much issue when anything happens. Then they also need to know that there are no guarantees. You are not guaranteed with your money. You are only donating a gift to somebody who needs it at the moment because you don't need it. Then in turn, when you need it, somebody else get to donate back to you. Okay, so once all this is being taken care of, you have the knowledge of all this, then everything is okay and cool. So thank you very much, Secretary, for the presentation. God bless you all, and congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll still go through your work again. And
God bless you.
thank you. So how many of you were active, and how many were dormant? How many are you all together? That is in your circle. The total number of circle members in two. How many were you?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. Are you seeing me?
Sorry? Your voice is actually breaking. Okay. Not to worry much. I'm trying to check if I got the mail you sent containing your presentation. So if I actually get it, no problem. And if I don't really see it, you can resend back to my email. But I'll get across if I don't see it. So any of your second members can resend it back. So okay, so thank you very much. Let's get to hear from the next circle. Anyone who's ready? Secretary, do you have them ready? please. Are they ready? Hello, Secretary, do we have anyone? Secretary, please. Anyone? Sorry? Do we have Secretary ready to present? Any member of Secretary? Okay, Secretary 4, do we have anyone? I think someone indicated they are ready in Secretary 4. So, do we have any of them here?
Hello, good evening.
Hello, evening.
Hello, this is Arnold Sullivan.
David. Let me talk to
Hello,
you
good
later.
evening.
Okay.
I'm still in the
Please,
meeting.
hello, madam. If you can advise others when they are not speaking, let them mute their microphones to go a long way in helping us.
Okay, no problem. I'll mute every other person who is not presenting from here.
Okay, I'm Sullivan of Seco 4, and I have most of my Seco members trying to enter the network, but the network is actually giving them a problem. So since I'm here, I'm going to go straight away, hoping that the network will not block me out. Now we are given 7 tasks to handle. Are you with me, ma?
I'm with you, go ahead.
We are given 7 tasks to handle, and the first one of the tasks said that we should go to a new place, and in that place they mentioned Thailand. Now, Thailand is a southeastern Asian country which has a population of almost 68 to 69 million, according to the last census done 2017. And Thailand has Bangkok as the highly populated city in the country. Their religion is Buddhism. Their currency is Taipei, or what we call Siamese, but Taipei is normally used. And this Taipei is of equivalence of 0.33 of 8 to $1. We are given $50,000 to enter Thailand for this particular assignment. Now, entering Thailand, we have to map out 1 or 2 or many steps which we are going to use to actualize our aim. First, we have to enter the place and get an accommodation for our stay. This, according to the table and the attachment I give to your mail, if you open it, you see how the table is stated, how we're able to categorize our needs according to the money we have at hand. And among these needs include making publicity materials like flyers, stickers, making contacts, text messages to people around, visiting social media houses, and opening a Thailand MMM website. Not mentioning, but we have logistics, when we want to arrange for seminars. According to our write-up, we planned the seminars into different days. And on each day, we have a planned expenditure on what we try to actualize. Among them is logistics on the first seminar day, logistics on the second, the third, because we planned 3 seminar days within the first 4 days we enter Thailand. And on these seminars, obviously, we need location. That's after making adverts on the media houses, trying to advertise and let people know of our presence and our intent. So in the seminars, we try to make people understand the ideology of MMM. Now, going to the first tax, that's tax 1, it reads that we have received the information needed in order to become managers in the MMM global community. It said now you have important tax, enter a new country. That's the Thailand that I've mentioned. Blah, blah, blah. As we have a team, the knowledge we got from the school, and possibly the money we have at hand. Now, Bangkok, being the most populated part of city in Thailand, has over 5 million people. On day 1, we enter the streets of Bangkok with flyers and banners. But our targets are the leaders and the influencers of thoughts and the masses in this area. The religious leaders, the popular bloggers, student leaders, head of market women, and all those things. Those are our targets. We followed the above. We shall arrange for strategic seminars, presentation, and strategic locations within the city. We shall be careful not to approach the conventional media prematurely, because you have to map out strategies, how to not paint our intent black. Not until we establish a measurable track record of success in the country, we shall meet the social media personalities, just like I've mentioned before. And you know that when we enter a new place, one of the main problems we are going to be facing is language. So obviously there's going to be a language barrier that is for us that's entering and the people that we're going to be talking to. So at first, I'm aware that I'm sure there will be some learned English-speaking, interested people participants in that area. And these are the people, if they show up, the people we are going to train to get acquainted with our ideology. And in turn, these people are going to help us reach down in their own dialects to these people. And it is always advantageous when somebody you know speaks to you about something. So when these people in their own place talk to their fellow citizens, they tend to understand and believe on what we are doing. So the social media houses, the Facebook, the Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere, these are places we are going to be opening pages and doing adverts. And that is for tax 1. That is for day 1. On the second day, we'll continue the citywide distribution of flyers normally, continuation of strategic meeting, presentation, and seminars. Obviously, we have penetrated at least 2 to 3 major religious houses through their monks, their imams, depending on which head of religious group they have. So now we send out invitations and seminars and symposiums on how to make this 30% from the spare money in 30 days to these diverse members through social media. And mind you, these are with the help of their fellow citizens, which we have trained to become even guiders in the system. On day 3, we we will have to organize at least 5 teams or more, depending on the crowd, the number of heads that we have. We divide the team into subgroups and organize the first series of MMM street walk. Something like we'll go through their major cities and advertise with our flyer, with our banners, and talk about the ideology. We get them to understand that registration into this platform does not buy. Instead, it's going to bring forth fortunes if really they understand the ideology. After which we might have light refreshment, let them know that that's all we have is gold for them. On the 4th day and the 5th day, we continue with this particular plan. Our goal is simply to let the last person in that community, in those communities that we step in, to understand and know that we are in town and this is what is happening. And that is for tax 2, and that is for tax 1. Now tax 2 said a week has passed. You the former, and the average contribution of a participant to the structure is around $300. I want to be using dollars instead of using Taipei because this is what we are used to understand what I'm saying here. So under the regulations of MMM Global, you must provide at least 30% growth in terms of participants' payments, starting with first contribution. It said your task is to calculate how many new members and contributions you have to ensure in the next 3 weeks in order to be able to make required payment to the older participant. And basically, this question is all about trying to weigh us on our first establishment, the first people that you bring into the system. They commit their investment. How do you get to pay them when it's time for their GH? So the solutions stated, we said in the first week in Thailand, we registered maybe like 1,000 participants, and they all contributed an average of 300 per person. So in all, we have 300 times 1,000, that's like $300,000 for this 1,000 people first contribution, as money already PH'd by participants in Thailand. That means we need about $90,000. That's 90 extra, being the 30% increase of the 300 they have PH'd, to pay out these 100 participants within the next 3 weeks. So adding up to their initial investments and the 30% increase makes it $390,000. This is the money that we should have at hand to pay out these participants, this first early bet that's PH'd. Remember, in their bracket of PH, that's $300, they tend to get $20 of referral bonus. The referral bonus. So we have within the next 3 weeks to pay up all this. Presently, we have $300,000, which is for the 300 people that's GH'd. But we need to pay participants of week 1 who will be due to get help after the next 3 weeks. We will be needing an extra $110,000. An extra $110,000. If you add it to the 300, you see we have $410,000. This includes paying them off and paying off the referral bonus for this 1,000. So to get that, we need at least 367 new members to PH on average of $300. Again, these are the people PHing the second round for us to pay the people of the first round. And we need that amount, like $410,000 in our savings to pay off $410,000 of people coming into the system, PHing to pay off the old people. Now, in the table that we presented, we have up to eight columns in 2 rows, where we imputed the whole numerics of these payments, so that from a glance you can understand what we need in week 1, the registered participant, the average contribution, the total contribution PH'd, and the total contribution plus 30%, the registration bonus, which is $20,000, and the GH contribution, which we are expected to pay off. Contribution needed to be GH'd, the amount needed to be GH'd in that week. And this we are going to get from people that are PHing in the next week. And obviously we are going to need 367 more people to PH, adding to the 1,000 that's initially PH'd. So our strategy includes encouraging old participants to bring new participants into the system and get 10% referral bonus. When these old participants know that when they bring in new people, when they bring in a new person, they get 10% of referral bonus of whatever the new person PHs. They stand to get encouraged to come into to work very well, to add to what they will GH in the preceding week. We also continue with our social media publicities, and that is basically to increase the number in the system, and also obviously more PHs. We get phone numbers of citizens and create phone call centers to inform them of opportunities in MMM. We can liaise with the telecommunication companies to send bulk SMSs on what MMM is all about. We can go into the campuses to recruit and distribute flyers to students, because it serves as a confluence place where people can come together. So when you actualize and get the information down to these areas, you tend to get so many people to come into the system, and in that manner we can bring in more people to PH and pay the old people. And that is for task 2. Now the third one said, a month has passed. You are 100ed. You're 100ed the same plan for another month on the basis of the results of previous calculation, taking into account the dynamics of growth, the number of new participants and contributions for the next week. What he's saying is, are you there? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, what Astray is saying basically is being conscious of the growth rates of people coming into the system, taking into account the dynamics of the growth, the number of new participants and contributions into the system. How do we manage the challenges within? So you know that after the first month, we had a large turn-up of new registration, and we were able to pay up the contributions of the first week, which was due for GH. And we have to strategize more by encouraging new old participants to PH again. Obviously, when you do the first one and you see the gain, nobody will, you by your own means or by your reasoning know that there is good in what you are doing. However, we also encourage them to PH again and bring in new participants to still enjoy the 10% referral bonus. We still go on the social media because that stands to be the best and the possible means to getting close to people in the roots of these areas. We continue the use of call centers and many other things to get information, spread information like wildfire. Now we also have a table in our solution which states with actual figures how we are going to take care of these checks and balances. In the table, we have table 1, which we called incoming cash. The middle one, we call it outgoing cash. And the third one, we call it the balance cash. If you look at those tables, you see that we have first, second month, which obviously we have practiced. We have the weeks stated in that table. We have the number of participants per week, the number of registered participants. We have average contributions of these participants. Remember, we have one participant to contribute an average of $300 a week. We have the contributions PH'd by each week. First week, we have our data stated. Second week, we have our data with the number of new participants, the average contribution, and the contribution PH'd. Now, in the outgoing cash, we have contribution and growth. Growth means the 30%. We have registration bonuses. This is the outgoing cash, remember? And we have referral bonuses. These are cash that are to be paid out. We have contribution plus registration bonus plus referral fee. That is a summary of the entire thing we have in the outgoing cash. And we also have balances, because the idea is when people come in, the incoming cash come and they grow 30%, you pay them off and you still have something to still maintain the system while you wait for the new PHers or new members, because you do not know how the future might be, whether there's going to be more members or there's going to be less people in the system, as we can see in preceding tax, because we are put a challenge of when the city was on holidays and the PH and the number of registrants went down. So you have to state very well your balance cashes, which you are going to use to balance your payments when the incoming or the new participants, their number goes low. So from the above table that we've stated, when you see the table, they are well explained. In the above table, we have segments that show cash, a segment that show outgoing, like I stated, and a segment that show available balance. At the end of 8 weeks, which is the second month, we were able to pay off GH that we are due for payment from 1st to the 5th week, and we got an available balance after all these payments of almost $1 million from the table and how we calculated it. Now going to tax 4, it said after 2 months, you have the number of participants and deposits that you have calculated. Now, you can calculate what you need to organize within the next month. A week after the start of the month, there is a local holiday in Thailand, which is celebrated during a week. respectively. In this period, the activity of registration falls by 75%. It says we should make a plan of action for a month, what resources and how you should use them, the right amount of contributions and participants for the development of the system. Now, this challenge, this tax is trying to put a challenge on us when we have a decline. Our focus was not, when our focus is no longer going the way we planned it. And you know, during holidays, people tend to conserve the money they have instead of putting it away. That is, people tend to spend to buy things for their holidays. So obviously there's going to be less money coming into the system, and obviously less people coming into the system. So from our past records, we have almost 6,900 participants in the system. That's owing to the table and how we stated it per week. And we had these 6,900 participants in the system came about from our calculations for first to the fourth week. We have 4,000 because each week we have an average of 1,000 people coming in. The first to the fourth week we have 4,000. Fifth week we have 600 because it's saying 75% of that. Means if we have 100 people, 75 of them drops. That means what we are left with is 25 people. Basically, I'm just giving an example. So what are the strategies we use to make sure that the system does not collapse entirely within this period? It is still the same preaching. We still have to encourage people, encourage old participants to PH again and bring in new, because of at least the referral bonus. We can as well maybe increase the 1 month's percentage from 30% to 40%, maybe within that 2 days or 3 days of their holidays. This will hold the people in the system, trying to encourage them to GH again, because if they don't do that, they might miss that extra bonus. And not only that, it will give us more information and more enticement to bring more people within these holidays. Instead of them splashing their cash and buying things, they can try to squeeze a little and PH to get that little bonus within maybe 3 to 4 days of that holiday period. We still continue to share handbills about MMM, continued with our publicities, and we try to encourage people, the people that GH, to bring in their videos where they are attesting the goodies of MMM. We try to paste them on our blogs so that people will get to see them and know that actually what we are doing is not child's play. We also use this opportunity to visit the orphanages, because people tend to believe that such an organization is all about making gain. When we bring yourself down to providing for the poor in those areas, they now get to know that you're also giving by trying to make the community stable. That is, that your community is not a party to just siphoning the money. So they get to know that what we are doing is to make the standard of living of the people in Thailand to be improved. We continue the use of call centers to still inform people and so on, and encourage participants to PH in Bitcoin. I know before this period, we must have talked about Bitcoin and they get to know about it. Now, so far within from the first week to the week 5, we have at least a total of 1 million in our savings to, after paying people that GH'd. We have up to 1 million, as stated in our table with the calculations. We have up to $1.something million still lying in the system to take care of take care of problems we might be facing within these holidays. Now, to give help to the present participants that will be due within this month, we need a total of about $2,400 and something, because we're going to pay up the principal contribution, the registration bonus, the referral bonus of week 6, 7, and 8. And looking at the trend of our data, how per week, how many of these participants are going to come in, how much they are going to contribute per week. The trend continued from week 5 to week 6 to week 8. And the trend and the calculated data are on our table. So you see that with our trend, we need almost $2.something million to pay off for week 5 people that are coming into the system. And these are the stated payments include the referral bonus, the principal contributions, and the registration bonus for new incomers. We need at least an extra contribution of 1.3 million to give help to participants that will be due to get help for that month. Present available contribution after GH for previous weeks is 1.something million. Contribution due for GH by the end of this month is around 2.4 million. Owing to dynamics of growth and growth again, remember the dynamics of growth and the social media publicities we had 1,000 new participants in the first week. Due to the holiday in the second week, it dropped 75% to become 250. 75% of 1,000 becomes 250. It continued dropping to the end of the month, irrespective of the efforts we've been putting. Now, we also try to draft another table where the figures showing the weeks, the weeks are the figures that presents how we have emanated from the first month, the second month to the third month. We also have the weeks in those in that table, also showing the inflow, the outflow of cash. Now you see that at this period, people that are coming to the system are on a down plunge. The number is going low. That means the inflow, if you subtract the outflow minus the inflow, we are going to start having a negative, because more people are not coming into the system, and we now have less balances, less money to GH the people that provided help before, and that becomes a problem. But that notwithstanding, we also continue with our advertisements and the publicities of the system. And that leads us to the condition of tax 5, which says your plan didn't work out. You do not have enough new registration and new deposits to cover the costs of the current deposits. It is necessary to analyze the plan of action in this situation. What are the resources? How many participants, contribution, etc. needed to get this situation resolved? Due to lack of funds, there are delays in payments. The old participants seeing that neither made their own contribution nor attract new members. So this is the condition we see ourselves because of this problem that possibly the holidays has cost us. Now, how do we tackle this particular problem? Now, the solution we stated plans to meet up with GH for the 9th week by using the total available balance cash in the 12th week. In the 12th week, we have a table which states the registered participants, the new number of PH, the average contributions, the total contribution PH within that week. And we look at our data, you see that we are going on a decline because the number of participants keeps going down. So from our analogy and our data that we have in our write-up, the 12th week failed to, we are left with a deficit of almost $1 million. We need 3,384 new members with an average of PH of 300 to pay up this deficit, this negative value of 1 million that we recorded as a result of these new people, these old people leaving the system or stopping to PH. The total contribution from week 1 to week 12 is now less than the amount due for GH, which week 1 and week 9 has presented. So in the figures we have, we are still recording a negative value, which wasn't enough in the 12th week. So we need to get new participants, and due to lack of funds to pay up old ones, their 30% Mavro growth and their bonuses, we delayed payments to watch if new participants will come into the system. So basically, when you fall like the condition we are having now, you see we are tend to being forced to either a pause and trying to forbid a total restart. But the condition is pushing up towards making a decisive decision of going to a pause, because payment days when you GH now is now increasing from phase 2 to almost 7 days after. So you delay the GH to see if the PH pool will increase, and yet it's not increasing. And to achieve these, we have to try to strategize with launching guidance school program, so that we will have more guiders in the system that will go into the areas to let people know more of what we are doing. It is always good to never to hide any parts of the ideology from them. Let them understand it from day one. So we'll be needing more guiders. We'll be training more guiders. We'll launch a school just like we have now. We'll tentatively delay payment for a few days to allow more PH in the pool. We also increase publicity through media houses. Obviously, the challenges we might be having by that time could be the media houses. They might turn their back on us, but we will never cease to do our best to let people know what we are doing, and that is by training more guiders in the system. And that leads us to tax 6. Tax 6 said, during this month, delay in payment increased to 7 days. Referral activities almost reduced to 0. The old members do not attract anyone and do not make contributions too. In virtue of this situation, a pause mode is implemented in which all the old Mavros are frozen and will be available for withdrawal when the situation will right itself. New deposits grow as per old conditions, and in brackets say are not frozen and are available as usual. They make plans of action for another 1 month. Resources, contributions, and members, etc. So what are the plans when we are in such conditions? Because the GH period is almost reducing to nobody being paid. The referral activity is almost reduced to 0. What is the condition? What is our plan? Hey, we say that our solution is the referral activities. Obviously, the referral activity has dropped to 0, means no new participants were registered and nothing was PH. However, remember, we engaged in training guiders. The trained guiders were able to bring more people, because once we train more guiders, we tend to have more horizon in our coverage areas and more people getting really educated on our ideology. So that might help us convince more people into the system. And in that way, with training of our new guiders, we're able to start bringing people into the system small. Hello, are you there? Hello?
Oh, go ahead.
Hello, are you following?
Ayobami, please, can you mute your mic? Ayobami, please.
Hello? Okay, so from training our new guiders, we're able to start convincing more people to join the system, to rejuvenate the system. And in our arithmetic, our guiders are able to at least bring 800 to 600 to 800 new participants with still an average of $300 PH. And with that arithmetic, around 800 members will times 3 will have like 240 something thousand dollars coming into the system. It's still very small, but it's a way to at least be going gradually to pay up our stacked up GH. And this particular plan introduced the new participants needed. You see that to pay up the entire bulk of people that we need to pay up, we need almost 3,000 participants in the system. But at the moment, we're able to at least convince up to 800, and the PH on an average of $300. And this goes a long way in reducing the total amount we needed, because remember we'll be needed up to $1.something million to pay up the GH. And if you subtract 240 something thousand dollars, which this 800 people has brought into the system from 1.something million, you see we will still have a whole lot of amounts to still pay up the GH money. But they said this effort didn't completely salvage the situation, thus extending the pause. However, since fresh deposits are not frozen, fresh testimonials of Marvel growth will keep the hope of old members alive, because we are putting the idea of allowing these 800 and something people to get their GH when their PH. These are new, just like the condition we're having now. The later people that's PH, we allow them to get their GH, and the testimony starts from there again. So it's like putting a pause or a freeze to the old PH Marvels, because with the intent of paying them up when the PH pool improves. So with this new testimony, this fresh testimony is coming from these few people that have joined the system, we tend to have a hope that the publicities will start thinking otherwise of us, of the black image they have made. And with obviously the new guiders in town, they calm the system, the people, the old members in the system, they calm them down and let them know of what is happening in the system. So our plan of action include the use of testimonials of the 100 new peoples that PH'd, maybe the 800 new peoples, and that PH'd and GH'd as a flicker of hope to the old participants. If peradventure it will make them trust the system again. We inform guiders that Marlboros of new deposits are not frozen, so they should encourage to bring in more people. We manage information such that the present state of our system remains between our team members. That is one other good point that we'll try to get down to the people. Let the condition of the system be within the people that know about it. People that are coming to the system should not be exposed to what we are facing, because it might discourage them or make them pH less of what they're intended to do. So this is a very good plan. So we basically need to launch a massive campaign of financial apocalypse, seminars, symposium, again, carrying out all kinds of activities we carried out in the first week of arrival. We will also face the media with the truth, telling them of the present state of the system and what led to the problems that we are having. So that is basically the plan we have. But it also got bad when we get to tax 7. He said your efforts have been insufficient to reverse the situation. A restart took place. All the old marvels are removed. We start to work from the beginning. Serious negative impacts of the members and unfavorable responses. One or more negative articles in the mass media. And you have to make a fresh start in such condition. What are the plans? A plan of action under specific condition. You know? Now, how are we going to tackle this? A total restart does not augur well with the condition of where we are. People obviously are going to lose trust. So due to the restart, there will be need to change base immediately. Not leaving entirely Bangkok, which is the most populated, but we still have more populated cities in those areas, or within the country. We can extend our horizon to another place and maybe basing fully our campaign on another part of the country, so that that part of the country can help us regenerate the trust, and possibly the old ones can join. We try to convince people in the other parts of the town. Remember, this is money we are talking about, you know. However, we will maintain our presence in the capital through the internet, major blogs, print media, etc., while they dispatch our guiders and team members to other states for mass campaign and recruitment. The city will relocate to, could be the second populated in the area. We have Nonthaburi as the second populated, and other cities in that area. So we can capitalize and focus our campaign in those cities to bring up that place and possibly convince the other parts of the town. So funds kept aside for emergency will now come in use. We'll start using them to take care of things. Our plan there is basically we need to launch still the massive campaigns to these areas. We also need to face the media with the truth, like I stated before. We display testimonies of people that benefited from the pre-start, the restart phase of the operation, so that we try to make people join the system again. We launch more badges of guiders. Guiders seem to be a very good arsenal to get down to the roots, to convince people down and get them to know why the restart happened, so that it will never happen again. Because obviously it's panic that leads to these particular problems. We tend to make them know of the knowledge and the skill. We have the mass to educate the people on best practices on the MMM platform through sponsored seminars and so on. And in that way, we try and see if we can restore the system and restore the dignity. So that brings our write-up to the end, but we'll have conclusions and recommendations for the system. We say guiders must be constantly PHing in the system as they are GHing, especially because of the bonuses accrued to them. So the guiders, obviously they know the ideology, they have to also be PHing into the system, because when these ordinary people backs down, it's the guidance that will restore the system and at least ignite it, and it starts rolling small until more people get convinced to join. If they keep G-hedging without P-hedging, they will crash the entire system. We also say that guiders should be religious in the discharge of their duties, as the survival of the system is dependent on them. Also, guiders should educate participants on the risk of the business, the risk of participating. This will help lessen the chances of mass panic among participants with every rumor wave they hear. Guiders should have constant interaction with their downliners to encourage them to keep p-hedging. Greed should be clearly condemned because it will crash the system. Quantity is good, but quality of participants should not be overlooked. The power of influencers of thought should not be underemphasized, as this could come in really handy. When we need to battle the negative propaganda of the conventional media thoughts, guiders should intentionally strategize on participation of top bloggers, religious leaders, and revolutionize the system academically. Thank you. And this is a presentation made by Circle 4, Group 27 people. Thank you. In our list, we have Onodo Chinonso Sullivan. That is me, the presenter. I have my second presenter standing by, just that the service has been giving him problems, and that is in the name of Collins Aneke. We have Olabode Olausua. We have Okeke Emmanuel, Osegi Isioma, Uchenna Okoro, Samuel David. We are 7, and these 7 are the people that obviously have been participating from the first day of the school. Thank you and God bless.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Break it down and make it simpler. Okay, so all the 7 participants in your circle were actively involved, right?
Yes, they're actively involved.
Okay. And you submitted that you worked to my mail?
Yeah, I've submitted our
Have I
work to your
sent?
mail. I've sent it to your mail.
I don't think that's. Let me check.
Okay, if you've not seen it, you can also resend, or any of them can resend, like you stated before. But I know I've sent it.
Okay.
I sent it C Sullivan. I sent it with C Sullivan on it.
Okay, I'll check. Okay, I've seen it.
Okay.
Let's open that check now. Okay, so thank you very much, and thank you for the presentation and the group 4. You've actually done a good job on coming together, brainstorm, and add on more 2 things.
Thank you.
And also made researches to get to the roots of the task. So getting to understand what the task is all about is really very important, and then getting to work on it. So not just trying to copy and then edit and put down. So once you understand what it's all about, you understand the question, and then you get to know how to start up to do, and what to add up there, and the way to go about it. So that's really one of the basic things you need to understand. I need to put into consideration. So which you guys have really tried and done not to that. So thank you and congratulations. So yes, circle
Thank you
members.
very much.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
it's already some minutes past 11. Do we to present. Anything already? Or we call it a day tonight, and then we continue late. Okay, I think the two presenters on two sets nights, that should be all, so that we get to have a good night's rest and then prepare for tomorrow, not to go to work late tomorrow. Okay, and those that were not able to join us here, I think your network was a bit bad. Heavy downpour in several places, several states, so I understand that. I hope tomorrow is going to be better than today. Okay, so for those who hasn't presented yet, Circle 1 and Circle 3, they were skipped because you weren't ready and none of you were available to carry on with your presentation. So we start off from the last circle we stopped today. We stopped at Circle 4, so by tomorrow Circle 5 should be ready to present. If they're not ready, then the next circle takes over. Then once we are done with the present cycle, those who were skipped will have to start up with their own presentation. Because once you skip your cycle, then you need to wait for the present cycles to present before we get back to your own cycle. So everybody, I hope you learned one or two things from the presentation tonight. And then we also try to make an amendment if you haven't presented yet. Mistake maybe in your calculation or in your data as you're putting up your registration data, so you can still make some amendment. Then if you haven't submitted your work to my email address, then you can also do that. Okay, I sent it out to the WhatsApp group also, and that's of our general group chat. Okay, then if you're not in the WhatsApp group, you can as well do well to join so that you can have easy communication and understanding to follow up. Then also the general group is important too. So get information from there as well as getting from the WhatsApp group there. So let's keep up becoming the good one we ought to be. Getting to learn each day, adding more knowledge to ours, then getting to understand the system more as the day passes by. Okay, because no day passes by without you getting one or two things as a new thing. Learning never ends anywhere. We keep learning every day. We keep adding to our knowledge. Learn from anyone, no matter how old or how young the person is. It's just for us to do what? Keep calm, bring down yourself, forget about your level. You can learn from even a toddler. So it's just for you to put up that understanding there, put up that enthusiasm, and put up that I want to and I can do attitude. That will help us a lot in every area and in every angle. So, and let's also remember that patience is virtue. So, in everything you do, always try to be patient at all time. That will really help you go a long way. Because an impatient person will always do the wrong thing and then regrets at the end of it all. So, once you're patient enough, you can always do and get along rightly. Okay, so you try to be patient and try to also encourage your downlines too. Lots of people who might be complaining, I haven't been matched, I pay it, and then what is happening in the community? What is the problem? Why haven't I gotten my GH and this that? I requested this on queue, this hasn't been done, this has been done. So let's try to encourage that. So it's very important. The community is actually trying. The system is popping up back very well. And so before we know it, it will get to be stepped back to July, June, and then before you know it, all other months get to follow. So it's actually our activities that can determine that, and determine also how fast this can be done. So once we encourage ourselves and then also encourage the downlines, then knowing the possibility and how far this can go, knowing that it's our activities in the community that keeps it going and makes it to be sustainable. So we can do it. It's possible. So let's keep up the good work, and then the sky is just the starting point. So good night, everybody. Have a good night and lovely night rest. We'll meet tomorrow, and then we keep talking to ourselves on the group chat and WhatsApp. So, any question before we call it a day? Sorry, I forgot to ask. Does anyone have question to ask, please?
Yes, hello,
Hello?
hello, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Concerning Secretary, hope you are going to let us to present tomorrow.
I said yes, you do that, but if the present circle is not available or has presented, then you can present tomorrow. But if they're all available, then that means your own could take like the next day if there is no time for you to do that tomorrow.
Okay,
But usually
definitely
present.
be available tomorrow by God's grace.
No problem. No pressure.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, mentor.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Ayobami from the 35. So
Okay.
my question is that are we starting from 35 tomorrow, or we have to wait for others that will be it depends on us?
Circle 5 tomorrow. We start from 5 tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Okay, so do you have any more questions? Clarification? Okay, so in the absence of any question, we can call it a day tonight and meet tomorrow, and also still continue communicating on the chats groups, the WhatsApp and the group chats. So, lovely night rest, everyone, and have a good night. Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Tani. Kí ló ṣe?